Today's makeup tutorial is going to be using this eye palette, Ucanbe Luxury Gathering, and I got this on Amazon and I absolutely love it. So I'm going to be creating a metallic eye look with it. So after putting on my eye primer, I will then go in with kind of a really light all over color like this to start with a really clean, that one right there, a really clean slate. And these colors aren't named. You get a ton of them on this palette, and I absolutely love it. And there we just start off like that. And then the next step is going in with a contour. And I generally like, you know, some of these tones that are more brown and they've got kind of more of almost like a hint of red in it. Now, even though this is going to be a little bit more of a darker, dramatic eye, I still like to keep the eyelid a little bit on the brighter side. For me, it just helps keep it more open. So what I'm going to use is this in the very, very inner corner, this one right here. And I kind of just pat it on in there. And if I get it on the really inner corner there, I don't mind because I put that in there anyways. And then what I'm going to do is graduate to this color here, right there. And I absolutely love these metallic colors. So then I'm going to intensify it even more with this shade right there. And just dab that kind of in the corner. I'm going to go in with that same shade with my bullet brush and intensify that corner a little bit. In here, you kind of want to drag it along your lash line and into that crease, kind of creating a V shape. And as you can see, that color is very, very dark and dramatic. And we've got enough color there, so now what I want to do is just take a clean blending brush and then just kind of start dragging it on into the crease and blending it out. So then what you want to do is go back in with your transition shade and blend it further. And really get on up in there and swirl it around. Do the windshield. So now the next step is adding the eyeliner. And right here is a black, so I'm just going to go ahead and use that. I like to use eyeshadows. It gives it a much softer blend. So I start about midway. And then lift kind of up towards I'm pointing it towards the end of the eyebrow. And this gives it a cat eye effect. And then I just kind of blend it on in there with that. And then I can further blend it with the bullet brush. And then finish it off with the transition shade brush. Okay, now I'm going to go pop on my eyelashes and I will be right back. Now that I've got my eyelashes on, the next step is going to be priming my face, and I am going to be using Angel Veil by NYX. And you don't need that much, just like about that much. And depending on what you want out of your face primer, there's every different kind out there. But the main reason why you wear a primer is to help your makeup stick on better. So I just put it all over. It helps create a nice canvas for your makeup. Now, the concealer I'm going to be using today is called The Perfect Lighting by It Cosmetics. And I really, really like this one. So I start off in this corner, brightening up that shadow and going underneath my eye bag on both sides. And like I've mentioned in some of my other tutorials, less is more when it comes to not only our eye concealer, but also our foundation. So I'm going to go ahead and just start spreading this around. I go underneath the shadow and right along the line of the shadow on my eye, on the inner eye. And just blend away. Here I do the same thing, not going up too close to underneath the eye itself. I think that has a kind of a weird effect. It really does close up your eye in a funny way. Then I take the concealer and I do a little bit of highlighting. So I like it brighter right there on my forehead. And then right here on the downturn of my mouth, as well as my chin, because I have a lot of different things going on there. There we go. And whatever's left on the brush. Now what I'm going to do is just pat it, which is further blending it and also lifting off any product that doesn't need to be there. Now what I'm going to do is leave my under eyes alone and move on to foundation. And by doing this, it's allowing any product to start settling into the lines. And then I'm going to go ahead and try and lift that off as well. So the next step is foundation. And this is my Wet n Wild Photo Focus. This is a matte. And it has a little paddle like that. And so what I do is I add it a thin layer on the back of my hand like that. Kind of spread around so that I'm already trying to get a real super even layer on my face. So then I take my, my buffing brush and get it all around. And then I just start patting it onto my face. And I honestly think that this application is proof that less is more, because I get more of a really good finish on it. And it seems a little bit more, you know, flawless than if I really caked on a lot of makeup. Unfortunately, as you get older, the more makeup you put on, and I don't even know if it's necessarily older. I think even young women, if you cake it on like that, you can see the makeup, and that's kind of defeating the whole purpose. So a lot of people go down their neck. I really don't, but of course you can with whatever's left on the brush. And then the next step is taking a beauty blender and going ahead and just further blending out your makeup and lifting off any extra. And this beauty blender is slightly damp. And so I like to really focus in on the lines that it may settle into. Okay. So because I added concealer on this and then here, I really want to make sure that there isn't any buildup. Another thing is when I put on my foundation, I go up to where I concealed and blend, but you don't want to add even another layer of foundation under your eyes, because then it's just going to start layering up on you, caking up on you, and you don't really want that. So now that my foundation's in place, I'm going to go back to the under eyes and just pat again. Okay. Then I'm going to take my Bye Bye Pores setting powder and set my under eyes. So I just go in with the powder and really kind of get it on in there. And then you really want to dust away any extra. Okay. And now I'm going to go in and powder the rest of my face. And I think this actually helps with putting on my my cheeks and my bronzer and all that. It just makes it a smoother application as well. And now on for the bronzer. It's the Butter Bronzer by Physicians Formula. And mine is the Sculpting Bronzer. So it does have some depth to it. So if you're more fair, this might be a little bit too dark for you, but I just go ahead and start right at that, right where my ear attaches, you know, start in there. And that way, if you have too much product on your brush, at least it's where it needs to be, and then you can start really blending it out. Because you don't want to start here and then have a big old deposit, and then you have to actually remove it. So then I go around my hairline. Now with the remainder, I like to go ahead and add a little bit of definition, mostly right there. And so you want to feel for that ridge, and you want to go kind of just right almost underneath it rather than on top. You don't want to see it on your face. You want to see, you don't want to see it at all, but you want to create like just a shadow right along there. And just using the rest of whatever's on the brush. And you can go down your neck if you want. Now the next step is blush. And I'm using the Milani Luminoso. And this is just a really, really pretty, almost a peachy, glowy blush. And I notice it's better for me if I kind of pat it on. It seems like it blends a little bit better. And I focus, you really want to focus on the middle of your eye out. And another thing that you don't really want to do that you might have done when you were younger is smile and see the apple and then put it on, because unfortunately now when you don't smile, it drops down, and so you're going to have your blush a little bit lower than you want to be. So basically right above where you put your contour slash bronzer. I use them both as one. Right along there up to maybe your ear. I like to add a little bit on my forehead, down my nose. Okay, and now for the highlighter. This is the Ulta Beauty Bacon Glow. I've had this forever. And then I just put it right here. Again, not going too inward. And then around the eye. And then down the nose. And so the next thing, now that I'm done with all of my cheek products, is kind of cleaning up and making sure that it's all where it's supposed to be, and I didn't get a little heavy-handed. And blending everything out. Now I go back in and just another bit of powder just to kind of soften everything and making sure that it looks really well blended. This, of course, is optional. If you don't really care for that much powder, you don't need to add that. Now on for the eyebrows, I'm going to go ahead and do my quick little trick where I use the same angled brush, and I go in there and just fill in the gaps. And because it's an eyeshadow, it's really, really soft to blend. And then I take my NYX Control Freak and just put them in place. For my eyeliner, I'm just using a bronze eyeliner that I've had forever. I can't even tell you what it is anymore. It's all gone. And there I just line my eyes and line even on the waterline a little bit. But because it's a little bit of a lighter color, it really doesn't close up my eye. I don't add the blacks and stuff like that along my whole under eye, just because I look horrible with that look. I mean, it really closes up my eye, and I've never liked that look on me. And then again, I take the angled brush, and with whatever's left on it, I just slightly tap right in the corner. And that gives my eyes just enough definition that I want. I don't add on mascara on my lower lashes. So the final step is the lips. In here, I'm just gonna finish this look off with a nude lip. I really like a nude lip with more of a dramatic eye. I think that's just a really pretty classic look. And then I add my NYX Slip Tease. And this one will dry down a little bit on the matte side. And then I just finish off with a gloss, something that's a little bit lighter that I just will add on to the fattier parts, giving the lip a little bit more dimension and shape. And that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you like my look.